And welcome back to another story brought to you by Pastor Jonathan and Reverend Sarah. We are so glad that you were here today.
Today's story is about dry bones.
What?
I know, it sounds weird. But a long time ago, after many years of rebellion, the Israelites were taken captive by the Empire of Babylon. This was a dark and discouraging time for the Israelites. Their temple, their land, and their nation had all been lost. But it was during this time that God gave an incredible vision of hope and new life to a prophet named Ezekiel.
In Ezekiel's vision, the Spirit of the Lord carried him to the middle of a valley filled with dry bones.
Look! Valley of dry bones!
That were scattered all over the place. And as the Spirit of the Lord led Ezekiel through this valley of bones, God asked him,
Ezekiel, will these bones ever live again?
And Ezekiel responded,
Oh Lord, only you know the answer.
Then in the same vision, God told Ezekiel to speak a message of prophecy to the dry bones that surrounded him.
Dry bones, listen to the word of the Lord. I will put breath into you and make you live again.
So Ezekiel spoke just as the Lord commanded. And as Ezekiel said the words of God's prophecy, a great rattling sound filled the valley, and the bones of each body came together and connected themselves to form complete skeletons. And as Ezekiel watched, muscles and flesh formed over the bone, and then skin formed over those. But there was no breath in them. There was no life in these bodies.
Then God commanded Ezekiel to speak a prophecy to the winds by saying,
Come, O breath, from these four winds, and breathe into these bones as they may live again.
As Ezekiel spoke these words, breath came into the bodies and they all came to life. There in this valley, a vast army of living people stood before Ezekiel.
Then God explained to Ezekiel that the bones in the valley represented the people of Israel, dried up, out of hope, and out of life. Then God told Ezekiel to prophesy to Israel.
O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to rise. I will take you out of captivity and back to the land of Israel.
Ezekiel this final message to prophesy for his people. When you return, you will know that I am the Lord. I will put my spirit in you and you will live again. You will return home to your own land. The Lord told Ezekiel to tell the people of Israel that when all of this comes to pass, they will know that it was the Lord who caused these things to happen.
Have you felt like these dry bones? Have you felt like you were lifeless, listless, or just lacking the breath it takes? Perhaps this story resonates with you. But I hope that this message comes across to each of us, that God is with us and is breathing life in us as we feel like we are those dry bones. In such a time as this, it is easier for us to feel like we are all alone. But God is with us every step of the way. Now, this doesn't mean that we won't be sad or that we won't be grieving. Indeed, these are normal things to feel during this time. But God is with us in the grief and the sadness. And the story even points to a time that will come where we will be restored into new life. And that's worth holding on to for hope for all of us, that we will indeed be restored to new life.
I hope you've enjoyed this week's story, and we can't wait to tell you the next one. But it will have to wait till next time. Until then, be kind, do good, and love your neighbors. Bye.
Ugly.